So that shiny new game just came out, Sonic X Shadow Generations. And you wanna know if it's worth your time, right? Well, let's take a look at the game first and first impressions. Keep in mind this is not a full review, this is a quick look at the game. I played the game for 2 hours, so I'll show some footage of the game while describing it and giving a few thoughts on it. I was playing on PC with a 3080 Ti and I was using max settings at 1440p. The Sonic Generations game was capped at 60 FPS and that's what I was at the whole time that I played the Sonic game. I didn't have any stutters or issues with that game. For the Shadow Generations game, you could up the FPS to 120 and I did. However, I did feel some frame drops while playing this game with 1440p max settings. It was usually always at 120 FPS, but every now and then when a lot was going on, it would drop some FPS. It didn't really affect my gameplay, but I did feel it. I could have just lowered settings if I really wanted to. Overall, the performance is good. I haven't played a Sonic game since Game Boy Advance SP, and I don't even remember which one. So I'm coming into this game with some knowledge of Sonic in general, but not a whole lot. First off, I started with Sonic Generations. This is a remastered game, and between Sonic and Shadows, I actually preferred the new Shadows game. Sonic Generations began with you already in a level, and I found every single Sonic level that I played to be somewhat difficult. That's because of one reason. It's moving so fast and I can't tell what obstacles are coming next. I kept mistiming everything, but at the same time, the levels are also really quick and easy. If you were to play through a level a couple times, you'd learn how to play it and fly through it. But on a blind playthrough, you'll probably mess up multiple times like I did. So far, the Sonic story goes like this. Sonic is meeting everyone in a park and it's a birthday party for himself. Then Time Eater, a big monster in the sky, appears and sucks everyone up into different portals except for Sonic himself. Sonic then appears somewhere else in a new location. It's an empty space that's all white and it has multiple levels and challenges in it that you need to complete in order to save Sonic's friends. Also in this white space is an area to buy and equip skills. I believe all or most of them are passive skills, like start with a shield that can take one hit or gain another life or increase Sonic's speed. Next to the skill shop is a collection room which shows you several things. Information on the characters that you've unlocked so far and other collections like music and art that you've got, for example. On the other side of the white space is a boss gate which needs 3 keys to unlock. You get keys by completing challenges. Then I found a little pinball game. I didn't expect to find that, but that was pretty fun to do, until I realized I'd be there forever if I played seriously, so I ended up just letting myself lose. I played a few challenges and got a key for the boss gate, and most challenges seem to be time based, but they're pretty easy. I only got 1 key for the boss gate, but it requires 3 of them to open. But instead of doing that, I wanted to check out the Shadow Generations game and see what that was like. Shadow Generations began with a scene, and I'll shorten it up. A professor wanted to create the ultimate life form, Shadow. Shadow was raised alongside the professor's granddaughter, Maria, in the Space Colony arc, and they were friends. Then tragedies happened. The military wanted to cover it all up, so they killed the professor and Maria and sealed Shadow away. He was then awakened 50 years later and went on a rampage. He was going to destroy the world until he remembered Maria's last words, to protect her planet. Shadow was also generated from the DNA of an evil alien named Black Doom, and after many battles, Shadow defeated him. Once all of those scenes were over, I started a new game, and then there was another scene. Remember Sonic's party in the park in Sonic Generations? Well, someone from that party called Shadow and invited him, but he denied that invite because of an unusual biosignature on the arc where he was. I thought that was neat how they tied both of those games together like that, and I guess both games happen at the exact same time. Both games are very similar, but I found myself having an easier time with the Shadow game. It could be because I was warmed up from the Sonic game at this point, and I did much better with this game. Shadow also has chaos control, which lets him temporarily freeze time. This is useful for fast-moving objects to either avoid them or use them as platforms. As it turns out, the enemy Shadow detected is Doom's Eye, which was a strange starfish thing that was next to Black Doom. If I'm understanding correctly, Black Doom died from Shadow, but the Eye survived. The Eye is actually still part of Black Doom himself, so it looks like Shadow will need to destroy him yet again. After that level, there's another scene, and again this ties in with the Sonic game. Time Eater appears in space, and now Shadow is also in a white space just like Sonic was. His area is a bit different though, and you can also move the camera around freely. It's not a side-scroller like Sonic's was. This area works just like Sonic's did. There's levels to do here and challenges. The challenges will give you keys that you can use to unlock a boss gate. At one point in a level, Shadow had wings, which was pretty cool, but in the few levels I did after that, there wasn't any more wings. So maybe that was a temporary thing for only that level? I'm unsure. Also in the white area, Shadow sees Maria and the professor far across the water, but earlier the game said that they were dead, so either that's some sort of illusion or they're alive somehow. I'm really unsure. I'm sure that's something that you can figure out later on in the game. Additionally, in the white area, you can find chests with collection items, such as art, music, all of that, similar to the Sonic game. Besides the levels and challenges, there's also something called power sealing devices, which can be used to unlock special powers for Shadow. The first one is Doom Spears, which is an attack Shadow can shoot out, and if you hold it down, then you'll be able to lock onto several targets at once. I played several levels and challenges, but but this time I also opened a boss gate. I found the boss fight to be way easier than I thought, easier than a lot of levels that I played. Doom's eye appears in the white space after that and projects the image of Black Doom. He tells Shadow that he plans to revive his forces and consume the world. I played an hour on each game, but I enjoyed the Shadow game much more. Story-wise and gameplay-wise, it just felt a bit better to me. Each game has various uses of cameras, sometimes side-scrolling, sometimes third-person with a fixed camera, and sometimes, like in the case of Shadow, you can freely move the camera yourself in third person. Both games have a nice mixture of gameplay and story, and they also give me a classic kind of vibe, because I remember playing Sonic on Game Boy. Overall, these are good games. If anyone's interested in these games, then I say go for it, though that's my personal opinion. Whether or not this is your type of game, I'll see you on the next one.